Jai Hind students, good morning to all. Today I am going to teach you the chapter 4 of your political science book, part 2nd, political theory. Today we will discuss about the social justice. First of all, we should know the meaning of what is social justice. Everyone must know about it. What do you understand by the social justice? Actually, it is a very complex issue. Social justice is based on the premise that all people are entitled to the same basic rights and freedom as everybody else. No discrimination should be done on the basis of caste, color, creed, custom, languages. All are treated in the same way. All are equal in the eye of law. This is the justice. Now we will come to know about the equality and equity. What is the difference in all these two? Social justice is connected with these issues of equality and equity. Actually, equality is all the efforts to treat everyone in a similar way, in the same way. No discrimination should be done. No partiality should be done. Of course, they belong to any religion, any caste, any community, any reason, etc. And equity, all attempts to ascertain that treatment is just and fair. No partiality should be done. Everybody should be treated fairly. Of course, they are living in any region of the country. They belong to any community. They are speaking any language. They belong to any ethnic group who are living in our country, who are the citizen of our country. They must be treated in the same way. Equity refers to how fair the system is to person who pass through it. How we are treating them. This is the equity. What is the social justice issues? Class discrimination, employment, education, justice. In many countries, especially at the time of colonial rulers, a lot of injustice is going to be done with the countrymen. In employment, they were not given the high posts. Only the white people, colonial rulers, the citizens of their own country, they were given the highest posts, whereas the native countries people were not getting the good posts. Of course, they are educated. In education also, a lot of partiality is going to be done. Justice was not for them. They were punished for the simple issues. If they raise the voice against any injustice against the colonial ruler, they were punished, they were suppressed, their voice was suppressed. There were racial discrimination. You already heard about the apartheid policy of the South Africa. Many countries who were under the colonial ruler at that time, this racial discrimination was going to be there. In America also, USA also, there was the racial discrimination. So this discrimination was common feature of the countries maximum who were under these colonial rulers. Many countries were there: Afro Caribbean, South Africa, India, China. Many Asian countries, African countries were facing all these. They were treated, they were segregated at many places, at the public places, especially the railway stations, bus stands, public transport, in schools. A lot of discrimination is going to be done with them. These are the some pictures. Mostly the menial work were given to these people. They were engaged in heavy works. Hard work were given to them. They were not getting any good opportunities in good fields. Because of all these, the society was suffering a lot. Even the small children, they were suffering a lot at that time. Street people, vagrants, they were suffering a lot. They were enforced to live in the slum areas. Because of these, they became the victim of the various communicable diseases. Many people were dying because of all these. There was no surety of the right of the children. No rights were enjoyed by the children. Cruelty was going to be done with them. Punishment, suppression were the common features of these colonial rulers. Delay of the executions also. They were not getting the justice in these countries. Today also, where there is no democracy, in those countries also, the common man suffering a lot in all these fields. Equality in education opportunities. Maximum countries today also facing the same situation. Equality of educational opportunities has been a social demand in the Caribbean country also, in Africa, and Asian countries also at that time. But injustice was going to be done with them. In schools, they were not allowed to sit in the front seats. White people, colonial children, were allowed to sit on the front seats. There were many obstacles in front of them. In many countries today also, casteism is there. In ancient time, there were a lot of injustices going to be done with the various ethnic groups. Because of these customs, in India also there was the untouchability. They were also, at that time were not treated well. Discrimination was going to be done. But when we got the independence, untouchability totally has been removed, abolished. Now in India there is no castes. All are equal in the eye of law. In many democratic countries today, they have the same rights enjoyed. They are enjoying the same rights. But in many dictators, in those countries, the dictatorship is still they are facing the problem, common man especially. They haven't the right to raise the voice against the injustice what is happening with them. Because of these inequalities in accessing secondary education possible here? Do all groups have access to education, primary, secondary? It is possible there? No, it is not. If the fair treatment will not be given to all the people, it is impossible. It is not sure that they will get the just. Social justice is not up to limited here. In many fields also the social justice is required. Civil services also. Educated people, however, they got education. But there is partiality is going to be done. In civil services, no highest post is given to those who are deserving. Uh, workers with less experience are promoted ahead of those with more experience. Today also, in many countries, at the colonial time, this was the common feature. Who are not deserving, they were getting the good post, and who has the less experience, less knowledge, they were getting the highest posts. Less pay for women doing the same job as men. In many countries, this can be seen today also. The women are not getting the same right. Racial discrimination was the common earlier, but gender discrimination was also there. Today also in many countries there is the gender discrimination. For the same work, women are not getting the same salary like the man. This is also unjust with them. Today, women is not second to none. They are also educated. They also deserve the same payment for the same work. In democratic country, there is no discrimination on the basis of gender. They are equal. Equally, they are going to be treated. Wages level below the minimum wage. At the time of the industrialization in England, this can be seen, which is the minimum wages decided by the government. The workers were not getting this minimum wages they were getting, especially the children and women. They were going to be exploited a lot. Even Sundays, they were not getting the holidays. There was no fixed hours of the work. More than 12 hours, 14 hours, they were working. There was no facilities of the health and hygiene. They were living in the slum areas. Maximum became the victims of the tuberculosis. Their lifespan became very less. They were enforced to live in the slum areas. A lot of exploitation was going to be done at that time. When the many philosophers, many scholars came forward and they raised a voice against this injustice, the many laws were made. Now, in maximum countries where there is a democracy and who is in favor in the equal treatment to equals, they all are no they are not doing any discrimination on these bases. Many other also fields there is the social justice is required, especially the challenged people, especially talented people. They required the special treatment for them. For example, any handicapped victim of the paralysis, they are doing the jobs, but in offices there is no ramp, no other facilities according to that special person. It is very difficult for him or her to go hand by hand with the other people at the public places, railway stations, bus stands, cinema halls, malls, even in schools. Special facilities are required for these special children, special people. Only when they can go with shoulder to shoulder with the other common man. So, there is a great required for all these just treatment to all the people. Failures to provide to facilities, ramps, special schools, buses, and job opportunities for the physically challenged reduces equality of life for the physically challenged, and no country can progress. No country can progress if they are not giving attention towards to provide all these facilities to these challenged persons. Those countries who are failure to provide adequate help Medicare, and relief for the elderly results in increased morbidity and mortality. How any country can progress? This is the great required to provide the health facilities so mortality can be reduced. Mortality can be reduced. A lot of efforts should be done for the education for the children, free education up to the age of at least 14 years, up to the 8th standard. Education should be totally free so the poor people can also get this opportunity to educate their children. Other facilities, hospitals, medical treatment should be provided at the cheap rates or free of cost. Only this gap can be reduced between the rich and poor. Basic needs, at least, should be experienced by all the common men of the country. Only when we can say that there is the social justice. All type of equality is required: political equality, economic equality, social equality. These all required for surviving a person in the society. Workers in low paying jobs are unable to improve their housing or standard of living. Yes, who are living under the poverty line. How can they progress? How can they compete with the other who are facilitated already by birth? They can't. There is a great need to help those people. They need a ladder. They need a ladder to go upward. So, this is the just society. Now, most of the countries are fighting against all these inequalities which are prevailing in their country. They want that they must provide just, fair treatment to all. And maximum countries, they are trying a lot to remove the gap between the rich and poor. And whatever the evil practices in their country, they also wanted to abolish. And today they are abolishing them. Still, many countries in Africa and Asia, they are facing a lot. There is no social just society is going to be provided to all these people. So there is a great need. They must understand that all human being having a heart, they feel they need your help, they need your support. They also want that they should also become a good part of that society. They should also have the right to live with dignity and respect in their country. They also deserve all these things. So, this is the foremost duty of all the countries to provide the just society to everyone. Social justice is required to everyone. This is the great need of today's common man for living in this world with dignity and respect. So, students, I hope you understand what is the importance of the social justice in the various countries. Rest we will discuss in the next class. Thank you. Have a good day.